Are you new to project management and feeling overwhelmed? In many cases, it's not because projects are hard. It's because no one ever clearly explains which documents you're supposed to use, and more importantly, when. You're handed a project, people start throwing around terms like project plan, project charter, and action plan, and you're expected to just figure it out as you go. And one of the most common points of confusion I see is the difference between these documents, especially when someone asks for the project plan, but what they're actually looking for is a task or action plan. When those distinctions aren't clear, conversations can get really messy and projects can start off on the wrong foot before the work even begins. And that's exactly what we are going to clear up here today, which is really cool. Hi, I'm Adriana Girdler, creator of the Slay Project Management course. And for the past 2 decades, I've been helping project professionals bring clarity and structure to how their projects are set up from the very beginning. And in this video, we are going to break these key documents down in a simple, practical way. We'll dive into the difference between project plan and the project charter and the action plan, and look at how each one fits into the bigger picture. By the end, you'll know exactly what to use, when to use it, and why. And that clarity will make everything feel just a little bit easier. Project plan versus project action plan. Before we even talk about the project charter, we need to clear up something that causes a lot of confusion. And that's what people actually mean when they say project plan. Because depending on who you're talking to, it can mean 2 very different things. At a high level, a project plan can refer to an overarching plan of the entire project. Think of it as a big umbrella. It includes all of the elements and documents needed to take a project from start to finish. Things like project charter, risk planning, communication planning, meeting notes, and yes, the action plan. From this perspective, the project plan isn't just one document. It is a full picture plan of how the project is being set up and, more importantly, managed. But here's where things can get tricky. When most people ask for the project plan, they're not actually thinking about that big umbrella. What they usually want is a list of tasks. They want to know who's doing what, by when, and in what order. And that's not the overarching project plan. That's your project's action plan. The action plan is a tactical, task-level view of the project. It's where the work is broken down from larger deliverables into very clear, specific tasks. This is the plan the team lives by day, and the one project managers tend to spend the most time in once execution begins. This distinction matters more than people realize. When someone asks you for the project plan and you don't clarify what they actually mean, you can easily end up delivering the wrong thing, which usually leads to unnecessary confusion and frustration. And believe you me, nobody needs that. Now that we've established the difference between the action plan and the overarching project plan, I want us to talk about the project charter. But first, if you really want to be a project manager pro, make sure you get my checklist on 10 project mistakes setting you up for failure and how to make sure yours doesn't. I'll put a link in the description box below. Project charter versus project action plan. Okay, we've cleared up the difference between the terms project plan and project action plan. Let's zero in on the project charter. This is one of the key foundational project documents you create right at the beginning of the project. The project charter answers the big questions about the project, why it exists, what's the project's goal, what success actually looks like, who's involved, how decisions are going to be made. This is where you document things like your project scope, what's in and out, really important, what's the priority trade-offs between time, scope, and budget, who has decision-making authority, what assumptions everyone is operating under. Don't forget that one, because that one can bite you. This charter gets built right at the start, typically with your sponsor and key stakeholders, before the team even starts executing the work. And it's not meant to live in isolation. This is a living document that is meant to be reviewed, agreed to and signed off on. And I always tell my students this, that sign off matters so much, and here's why. It confirms alignment and creates a shared understanding of what everyone is committing to before the project moves forward. I often describe the project charter as the heartbeat of the project because it captures the agreements that everything else is built on. When goals aren't clear, assumptions start to creep in, or expectations don't line up. This is a document you go back to for clarity on what was actually agreed to at the start. The project action plan, on the other hand, has a very different job. Once a project has been agreed on and everyone is aligned, the action plan becomes the document that guides the day-to-day work. Let's talk about how it gets created. During your initial project planning, you take the major activities you need to do to complete your project, which, by the way, should all be in your charter, and you break them down into big buckets in your work breakdown structure, or what we call the WBS. Now, if you're not sure how to build your WBS or your project charter for that matter, I have some great videos explaining both of them. Just go to the YouTube search bar, type in Adriana Girdler WBS or project charter, depending on which one you want to check out. But I recommend check them both out. Once you have the first 3 levels of your WBS in place, you're going to use that to create your action plan by taking those big chunks of work, those major activities, and breaking them down into individual tasks. Then you're going to assign ownership to each of those tasks and set due dates so everyone is clear on what needs to happen, who's responsible, and more importantly, when it needs to be done. Your action plan is tactical and detailed, so it becomes the document the team uses continuously as the project moves forward. Think of it like this. The project charter sets the direction, and the project action plan shows the path. One gives you clarity and alignment at the start, and the other helps the team execute the work with confidence. Why does confusing the project charter and the action plan cause problems? When there's no clear distinction between the project charter and the project action plan, projects quickly become harder to manage. And it's not just because people aren't capable, it's because they're working without the right clarity at the right time. Without a solid project charter, teams often jump right into tasks without a shared understanding of what success actually looks like or what constraints they're operating under. That's when scope creep starts to happen, priorities quietly shift, and expectations don't line up. None of that is intentional. It usually comes down to missing agreements early on. Now, on the flip side, even a well-aligned project can struggle if there isn't a clear action plan behind it. When tasks aren't clearly broken down, owned, and sequenced, progress tracking becomes hard, and project managers end up chasing updates instead of managing outcomes. Most of the frustration people feel on projects isn't caused by bad execution. It's caused by using the wrong documents to solve the wrong problem. How to remember when to use each document? One simple way to keep all of this straight is to focus on the question you are trying to answer in the moment. When the question is, are we doing the right project, or what did we actually agree to? You go back to the project charter and revisit the agreed upon goals, success criteria, priorities, and scope. But when the question is what needs to happen next, or who owns this, you go to the project action plan so you can see all the tasks laid out, who is responsible for them, and when they are due. As well, which tasks depend on other tasks and where bottlenecks may potentially be showing up. Each document has a very clear role, and once you separate those roles in your mind, it becomes much easier to use them confidently instead of second guessing yourself. Why this confusion is common and fixable. If this distinction was never clearly explained to you before, that's extremely common. Most people learn project management by being dropped into a project and expecting to figure it out as they go. So listen, it makes sense that documents like the project charter and the action plan get blurred together. The important thing to understand is that this isn't about memorizing anything. It's just about being clear on the right tool for the job. Once you understand what each document is responsible for, you can apply that thinking to any project, regardless of project size or industry. This is why I'm very intentional about focusing on the practical elements of project management in my SLAY project management course, because I know how important it is for people to understand which documents do what job, when to use them, and why they matter. And because busy project managers shouldn't be starting from scratch every time, I also include practical templates for these documents so you can focus on managing the project, not creating paperwork. If you want more details on my course, check out the link below. A quick story to bring this to life. Let me give you a quick example. Imagine you're a few weeks into a project and one of your team members comes to you and says, "This isn't what I thought we were doing." So you pull up the task list, walk through what's been completed so far, and explain what's coming next. But the conversation goes in circles. The issue isn't the work, it's that you're having a direct conversation using a task document. Now, imagine the same situation, but instead of opening the action plan, you go back to the project charter. Together, you revisit why the project exists, what success is supposed to look like, and what was agreed on at the start. Suddenly your conversation shifts and the two of you aren't debating tasks anymore. You're getting realigned around the purpose of the project. That's a difference that these documents make when they're used properly. The action plan keeps the work moving, but the charter is what brings people back into alignment when things start to drift, and they will. And once you've experienced that difference, it becomes much easier to know which document to reach for in the moment. Okay, let's wrap all of this up. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, is that feeling confused about project documents doesn't mean you are a bad project manager. It usually just means no one ever clearly explained to you which document is actually meant to do what. When you're clear on the role of the project charter and the project action plan, project management will feel, well, just more manageable, because you know where to go when alignment is needed and you know where to go when the work needs to move forward. That clarity alone can change how confident you feel walking into conversations, leading meetings, and making decisions. So the next time someone asks for the project plan, pause and clarify what they really need. That small moment of clarity can save you a lot of time and frustration. Okay, now that you know how to avoid mixing up your charter and your action plan, what about the other mistakes you need to avoid? I've written a checklist on how to avoid project failure, so be sure to grab your copy. I'll put the link below this video. If you found this helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Ready to keep growing as a project manager? Well, watch this next series. It is packed with practical tips and real-world insight to help you level up fast.